Today, we're talking about single-player games that completely pull you in and never let go. These are the games that make you lose track of time, where the story, gameplay, and world are so good you can't stop playing. If you love getting lost in amazing solo adventures, you're in the right place. Without wasting more time, let's get into the video. In Ori and the Will of the Wisp, everything feels electric from the second you start moving through its lush, vibrant world. It's not just the incredible art style, which looks like someone painstakingly painted every leaf, every creature, every little bit of sunlight. No, it's the fluidity of how you control Ori. Each jump, dash, wall run. It's also elegant and seamless that the platforming itself becomes one of the most satisfying parts of the game. You aren't just playing through this world, you're dancing with it. Now, the story dives deep into themes of love, loss, and sacrifice. Without going over the top, its emotional beats just hit, especially with the way the music pulls you into those heavier moments. This is one of those games where the soundtrack is almost as important as the visuals, building tension in the difficult parts and releasing all that pent-up emotion when the story hits those heartfelt moments. The gameplay has its hooks from the very first area, mostly because everything feels so intuitive. You explore these beautifully interconnected areas, and each new ability you unlock folds into the world design perfectly. So, something you couldn't reach before suddenly becomes accessible, and it makes the backtracking feel worth it, not like a chore. Combat, too, is punchier this time around. You've got this more dynamic toolkit with the Spirit Edge and weapons like this Spirit Arc, and every face-off feels fast and precise. It's a game that keeps giving, from its stunning visuals to its rewarding gameplay loop, until you lose track of time entirely. I know I have been frequently mentioning this game in this channel, but why not? Ghost of Tsushima grabs you with its cinematic visuals right from the start. It's hard to overstate how breathtaking the island of Tsushima looks. Whether you're riding through fields of tall grass swaying in the wind, standing atop cliffs overlooking crashing waves, or sneaking through dense forest during a rainstorm, every frame feels like it could be straight out of a samurai film. And the game isn't shy about letting you drink all of that in. Swapping between Jinsukai's intense katana duels and moments of pure serenity like sitting for a haiku or soaking in a hot spring creates this rhythm that's impossible to pull away from. Then there's the combat, fast, fluid, and deliberate. The first encounter has you drawing your sword in one of those classic standoffs, anticipating the enemy's move before you strike. It's swift but precise, and after that, you're in, adapting to the intensity of your katana battles. You switch between 4 different stances to take on various foes, and you quickly catch on that combat here isn't just about mashing buttons. It's a dance of parries, dodges, and calculated attacks. Whether you're facing an entire bandit camp or taking on a skilled Ronin in a duel, every fight feels like a scene painted with deadly grace. The world itself has this seamless balance between beauty and brutality. As Jin, you struggle between maintaining the honor of a samurai and becoming the Ghost, an assassin willing to do whatever it takes to defend his home. It's a journey constantly pulling you between those two sides, making each decision, each battle, a memorable part of this sprawling, emotional odyssey.
Prisoner termination protocol initiated.
Think high-speed parkour meets instinct-based combat, and you've got the essence of Ghostrunner. The blade slices through enemies like butter, but here's the thing, you move just as fast as the game's pace demands. There's no walking through this cyberpunk dystopia. It's all quick reflexes, wall running, grappling across neon-lit blades of building edges, and dashing through enemies in one clean motion. One moment, you're running across a glass wall, scanning for turrets, and the next, you're slicing through heavily armed guards in rapid succession. The game constantly pushes you to be inventive with every move. And it doesn't hold your hand. Every encounter with enemies becomes a one-hit challenge. You miss a dodge, or you step into enemy fire, and it's over. Respawn, and you're back at it, but it never feels repetitive. Instead, you're tweaking the way you approach each fight, trying new angles of attack, mastering the patterns of a level, and switching between cybernetic abilities. Yes, you're running around, but all the while, you're becoming a deadlier version of yourself with each attempt. The world definitely helps suck you in too. It's got this Blade Runner meets Ninja Gaiden vibe, with neon lights reflecting off metal surfaces everywhere you go. The towering megastructures and electronic score seem to pulse in rhythm with the action. You're not just chasing after enemies, you're fighting alongside the city's beat. Ghostrunner just doesn't give you a chance to slow down, and that's exactly what makes it so addictive. It's about precision, speed, and pure adrenaline, all wrapped in that dark, dystopian atmosphere. Returnal wastes no time throwing you into its relentless jungle of chaos. The moment you crash land on this alien planet, you're gripped by a sense of isolation. Celine, your character, is abandoned in an eerie, rain-soaked landscape, and that feeling stays with you throughout. It's a roguelike at its core, but it hits differently because each run feels like you're both unraveling the planet's mysteries and diving deeper into Celine's psyche. The haunting atmosphere gets under your skin pretty quickly, but the thing that keeps you coming back is the fast-paced, bullet hell combat. It's all about reacting quickly. Every combat encounter turns into a flurry of attacks, dodging, and pulsing alien energy. Shooting feels fluid, and the variety of weapons and randomly generated upgrades makes each run unique. No two sessions play out exactly the same. The loop is brutal, but that's what makes overcoming each death satisfying. You die, but you learned. Every failure tells you something. How to avoid that wave of enemies, how to anticipate a boss's attacks, or where to find hidden upgrades. The game rewards this kind of progression not through leveling up or permanent power-ups, but through your awareness and strategic growth. The world shifts as you do, and uncovering bits of Celine's fragmented memories pulls you deeper into the mystery, making every new area worth the struggle. The more you push, the more obsessed you become with reaching the next twisted chapter of the story, not for answers, but for the experience. Dead Cells hits that sweet spot for roguelikes. You've got this fluid, fast-paced combat system. You're dodging, parrying, slicing through waves of enemies. And what's great is how the game makes you feel powerful, right off the bat. Even though you know dying is inevitable, the movement especially makes Dead Cells stand out. It's not just about hitting enemies. You're zipping up walls, dodging arrows midair, and chain sprinting through rooms without breaking the flow, all while avoiding traps left and right. It's that constant satisfying rhythm that gets you locked in. And every run, it's never the same. The random level generator makes sure of that. Environments shift, enemies change, weapons you pick up tell their own stories, and every death is a chance to try something entirely new. The thrill here comes from adapting on the fly. One run you're relying on swift flows with twin daggers, next, maybe you're dropping turrets to do half your work. It's unpredictable in the best way. On top of the combat, there's this risk-reward system. You collect cells to upgrade your stats and weapons, but use them wisely or lose them on death. Trying to push one more zone before cashing in your upgrades can lead to either huge payoffs or crushing defeat. That constant balance between gambling with rewards and the urge to just go one more time keeps the adrenaline pumping. You'll lose track of time. Easy. Right off the bat, Hollow Knight's hand-drawn aesthetic pulls you in with its haunting charm. It's a game where every frame feels like art, but beyond the visuals, it's the world of hollowness that grips you. As soon as you take control of the little knight, you're exploring, a maze of forgotten cities, dark tunnels, and creepy ruins, all waiting to be uncovered piece by piece. There's no hand-holding here, which is what makes it so intriguing. You wander through mysterious paths and ancient corners, unsure of where you're going, but eager to find out. Figuring things out on your own lends a sense of accomplishment to every discovery, every map update. The combat is tight too. You notice quickly how smooth the controls feel. Jump, strike, dodge, repeat, and nothing about it feels loose or out of place. There's a rhythm to it. The enemies are challenging enough to keep you on your toes without crossing that line into frustrating. And then there's the platforming, which is just as precise, making every leap an opportunity to master your movements. But it's not just the mechanics that pull you. The world feels like it's hiding something, begging you to piece together its secrets. Through cryptic bits of dialogue and environmental storytelling, you're sucked into the lore without even trying. It's both melancholic and alive, somehow vast, yet intimate at the same time. And just when you think you've explored one area enough, a whole new section opens up, renewing that feeling of awe.
Get there!
I recognize that stance. Perhaps you've had some training after all.
If you're even remotely a fan of Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order grabs you from the get-go. The opening moments drop you into the silent hum of a galaxy hiding from the Empire, following Cal, a scrappy young Jedi in exile trying to avoid detection. But what immediately stands out is the feeling of action. The lightsaber combat is the heart of this game, and from that first swing, it feels incredibly responsive. Every block, parry, and lightsaber strike carries weight. You're not button mashing your way through enemies here. Instead, it's about timing, knowing when to deflect blaster bolts or weaving perfect lightsaber combos through stormtroopers. It strikes a perfect balance between strategic and fast-paced in a way that keeps the tension up. What keeps you drawn into Jedi Fallen Order, beyond combat, is the exploration. Climbing, wall running, and leaping across vast landscapes channel those classic adventure vibes, but with a lightsaber on your back. As Cal grows in his power, especially with force abilities like pushing enemies or freezing them mid-combat, the exploration becomes entwined with how you navigate the often puzzle-like worlds. Everything feels connected. Your skills open new paths, and sometimes you're revisiting planets just to unlock new areas with your upgraded abilities. There's always a sense of discovery tied directly to your skill progression, whether you're piecing together ancient Jedi history or just absorbing the atmosphere in some of the most beautifully crafted planets in the Star Wars universe. It's a story-driven adventure mixed with deep, satisfying combat that just begs for the next encounter or climb. And every time you return to the Mantis, your trusty ship, you're ready for the next chapter in your Jedi journey. Prey drops you into a space station called Talos 1, and right away it feels off. It's got this detailed, polished sci-fi look, but there's an unsettling vibe. You're not quite sure where the dangers are lurking. Turns out, the whole station's infested with shape-shifting aliens, the kind that can disguise themselves as everyday objects. Early on, you'll go to pick up what looks like a mug, and bam, it morphs into a mimic and leaps at you. Moments like this immediately crank up the tension, making you constantly second-guess everything around you. But what really keeps you hooked here is the gameplay freedom. Sure, there are objectives to complete, but how you go about them is up to you. Let's say you need to get through a locked door. You could find a keycard, or you could crawl through a vent, blast the door open with a weapon, or even turn into a tiny object using a mimic ability you've unlocked and roll your way inside. Prey thrives on open-ended situations. So, instead of dropping you into the usual fight-or-die scenarios, it challenges you to think through problems in creative ways. Between the creepy atmosphere, interesting enemies, and near-limitless approach to problem-solving, you end up completely absorbed. Every area feels like it's hiding secrets, every room potentially masking an enemy, and when you pair that with deep crafting systems and evolving abilities, you're constantly tempted to stay a bit longer, just to see what else you can uncover. Within moments of starting The Witcher 3, you're dropped into a sprawling world that feels overwhelmingly alive. Geralt's quest may begin with just a hunt for his missing ward, Ciri, but it quickly spirals into a deeper tale, full of political intrigue, personal vendettas, and mystical forces clashing in the background. And here's the thing, it's not just the main story that ropes you in. Everything in this world is engaging. Even the smallest side quests have a level of depth and consequence most games reserve for their primary plot. After one or two of these, you realize this is a game that makes you care about the little things. Combat's no slouch either. Each sword swing, spell cast, or dodge feels precise. It's all about rhythm, knowing when to strike, when to pull back, and using both Geralt's brute force and magical abilities effectively. Alchemy and crafting add layers of depth, making every battle about more than just brute strength. Then there's the world itself. You'll get lost, literally and figuratively. The environments range from war-torn villages to haunted forests, each packed with atmosphere and danger. It's not just beautiful, it's alive. NPCs go about their lives, making towns feel real and dynamic. You'll stumble across random events or hear snippets of conversations that deepen the world's lore without any conscious effort to track them down. Exploring isn't just a task, it's a reward. Every corner of The Witcher 3's world holds a secret, a character, or even a beast waiting to test your skills. It keeps you moving forward, curious to uncover that next thread in Geralt's intricate tapestry. Hades hooks you fast because the combat system is tuned to perfection. Every slash of the sword, every dodge to avoid an incoming hit. It's like your fingers already know how to play the game after just a few runs. And with its roguelike loop, you start to get attached to every mistake and death. Each attempt feels like meaningful progress, even when you fail. The game has this addictive flow that's hard to break, and the random gifts from the gods keep each run feeling fresh. You never quite know which ability you'll be blessed with, and that unpredictability is half the fun, but it's not just about the fight mechanics. The characters here, Zagreus, Hades, Persephone, and more, are surprisingly human in the middle of this mythical underworld. The relationships are surprisingly complex, and you'll actually want to talk to everyone because you care about their stories. Conversations don't repeat mindlessly, they grow and evolve. So while you're slashing through hordes of enemies, you're also gradually pulling on the thread of a story about family, belonging, and a lot of frustration. It leaves you with this tense push-pull. You want to crush your enemies and dash your way out of hell, but you'll also pause to listen to every scrap of dialogue. That combination of layered storytelling and masterclass in action gameplay makes it one you'll return to again and again and again. Within minutes of starting the Outer Worlds, you realize something pretty special is going on. It's space. It's an RPG, it's got wild characters and sarcastic, biting dialogue. It all comes together in a way that's both entertaining and engaging. You're the new arrival, thrust into this off-the-wall spacefaring adventure, where corporations rule planetary settlements and everyone's looking out for number one. What makes this game an obsession waiting to happen is how it blends humor with weighty player choices. In conversations, you'll constantly want to push NPCs just to see their hilarious, offbeat responses, but it's not all jokes. The choices you make shape the galaxy, and unlike some other RPGs, you feel those decisions resonate almost immediately. It's like the game secretly knows what your next move's going to be and adjusts, letting you spin this large, branching narrative. You're not just following along, you're leading the charge. Then there's the freedom in how you handle missions. Sneak around, talk your way past guards, or go in with guns blazing. It's up to you how each encounter unfolds. The combat's there for sure, and satisfying enough with plenty of weapon upgrades and skills to mess with, but it's really the personalities and branching paths that keep you hooked. Characters like Parvati have tons of depth, quirks, and issues that you want to unravel while you're out there hopping to strange planets. And the aesthetic? Retro-futuristic, but with a corporate dystopian twist that feels fresh. You've kind of seen familiar elements before, big open spaceships and colorful planets. But here, they've got an extra layer of personality that feels wildly unpredictable. You never know quite what to expect in the next colony or outpost. Death's Door is the kind of game where the charm hooks you right away. You're this little crow, working as a Grim Reaper, harvesting souls in a world that's unexpectedly adorable, despite its darker themes. The visuals might be simple, but there's a ton of personality packed into every corner, from quirky NPCs to beautifully stylized environments that shift from peaceful forests to eerie, decaying temples. And right from the start, the game teases you with a world that feels full of secrets just waiting to be uncovered. You're never quite sure what you'll stumble across next, which constantly pulls you deeper into exploration. Now, the combat, it's quick, it's satisfying, and it doesn't mess around. At first, it seems straightforward enough. You've got your sword, your dodge, maybe a ranged attack here or there, but as you progress, you realize how tight the mechanics really are. It's less about mindlessly slashing through enemies and more about balancing offense with careful dodges, because every hit you take feels that much more punishing. You're learning enemy patterns and perfecting your timing, and suddenly a fight that felt impossible becomes doable with each attempt. That sense of incremental mastery is super rewarding. And while Death's Door plays with plenty of humor and charm, there's this subtle, melancholic undertone running through the game's world. It slowly creeps up on you as you learn about the crow's role in this cycle of life and death, and that balance of lightheartedness with existential questions sticks in your mind long after you log off.
Put that mallet down! Are you stupid or what?
I am not stupid!
This game drops you straight into 14th century France, and it's not shy about showing the brutality of that time. You quickly bond with Amisha and her younger brother Hugo, mostly because of how helpless you feel for them from the start. The narrative hooks you within minutes. Their world is falling apart around them, with war and the Black Plague ravaging the countryside, rats swarming in seemingly unnatural waves, and Inquisition soldiers hunting them down. The threat of danger feels ever-present, and that tension keeps you locked in. The stealth gameplay marries perfectly with the grim atmosphere. Amicia is not some sword-wielding warrior. She's a teenager, relying on quick thinking and tools like her sling to navigate through terrifying rat-infested areas. This constant need to stay in the shadows, along with finding clever ways to keep the plague-driven rats at bay with fire or by manipulating light, adds a unique sense of vulnerability to the game. It's not about rushing in. Rather, it's all about thinking 2 steps ahead, moving carefully, and sometimes just holding your breath during intense standoffs with soldiers. What makes A Plague Tale so gripping isn't just the tension, though. It's the relationship between Amicia and Hugo. As the 2 siblings are forced to rely on one another in an increasingly hostile world, their bond becomes the emotional core of the game. You get invested in their survival, not because it's a game where failure means a simple game over, but because you want to see them make it through. That emotional weight, combined with hauntingly beautiful visuals and impactful stealth mechanics, keeps you glued to the screen, immersed in their journey. Gris isn't like most platformers. From the first moment, you're met with this stunning, painterly art style, one that almost feels alive with every step. It's not just the visuals, though. Everything about Gris works together to create an emotional experience that pulls you right in. There's this journey happening, one that's deeply personal and wordless, relying on visual metaphors and music to guide you emotionally. You're watching it unfold as the main character moves through these gorgeously crafted, dynamic environments that change as she gains new abilities. There's a real sense of progression that mimics her internal growth, and you can feel it even without dialogue or text. That's the thing. It's all so subtle, yet so powerful. You start in this world devoid of color, but as you move forward and unlock new areas, vibrant hues are reintroduced. It's not just for show either. The game uses colors to reflect different emotional states as you progress, drawing you deeper into the character's healing process without saying a single word. Now, the gameplay itself is simple, graceful, even, but it doesn't feel easy. Each new ability you unlock, like turning into a block to resist wind or using your voice to shatter obstacles, opens up different ways to interact with the world. Platforming puzzles aren't designed to frustrate you, but instead complement the story with a sense of wonder and fluidity. The music ties everything together beautifully too, with a score that changes and swells to match the game's evolving tone. Gris feels less like a game and more like living through a piece of art, one that gently unfolds as you explore its delicate, profound themes.
They can fly. Great.
Control doesn't waste any time letting you know something's off. You step into the Federal Bureau of Control, a sterile, labyrinthine building that feels alive with secrets. But the way the game plays with space is what makes it special. Rooms twist and reshape themselves, corridors lead to impossible places, and objects buzz with paranormal energy. The combat is instantly satisfying too. It's got your usual third-person shooting, but telekinesis steals the show. You're ripping chunks of concrete from walls, chucking filing cabinets at enemies, and floating midair, all without ever losing a sense of control. And the best part? Everything just works mechanically. You're constantly encouraged to experiment. Will you shoot, hurl a desk, or levitate above the chaos? It makes fights constantly engaging. But deeper than the combat, it's the weaving of mystery and narrative that keeps dragging you back. Jessie's search for her brother inside this messed up shifting agency aligns with your own quest to make sense of everything. Files scattered around the facility hint at a warping reality, otherworldly phenomena hiding just under the surface that doesn't give up its answers easily. You want to uncover them, and there's always something just out of reach, some strange line of dialogue or bizarre object. And every time a question gets answered, 2 new ones pop up, keeping you hooked on the Bureau's weirdness.
That better be all of them.
Sifu hands you martial arts combat that feels almost ballet-like in its precision, but there's this extra layer with the aging mechanic that sets it apart from other brawlers. For every mistake, for every death, your character ages a bit. It's a beautiful thing, really. On one side of it, you've got this literal representation of experience making you stronger, but on the other, each failure has a price. As you age, your character becomes more powerful, your strikes hit harder, your moves become refined, but you've got less life to work with. The stakes rise with every misstep, giving each fight an added sense of urgency. The parry system here hits similar beats to Sekiro in the way it rewards timing and discipline. Every punch, block, and dodge isn't just reactive. It's part of a larger puzzle where you're trying to break the enemy's guard or deflect their strikes until you can land that perfect hit. You're constantly shifting between strategy and execution, which makes the combat deeply satisfying to master as you progress. Mastery really is the name of the game in Sifu, unforgiving but rewarding. What also keeps you looped into Sifu is how the environments twist modern-day locations with traditional, almost dreamlike aesthetics. Nightclubs, temples turned on their heads. Each stage feels unique and enhances the storytelling. You're not just battling through faceless enemies, you're going after specific people, and the hunt feels deeply personal, fueled by the game's striking, fast-paced action.
Hook that down!
叔父上の墓前以来か。
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice doesn't mess around. Your very first real encounter throws you into a brutal world of sword fighting that screams precision. It's a game where battles aren't just about hitting hard, but about mastering the timing and learning the rhythm of every fight. The first duel with a major enemy quickly teaches you this isn't the kind of game where button mashing works. Parry, counter, block. You're constantly adjusting to survive. The combat's fast, but it's also deliberate. You'll quickly feel like each fight is a tense dance, where every wrong step leads to failure. And that's the hook. Loss after loss becomes a means to grow stronger, to learn the pattern and fight back with hard-earned skill. What keeps you locked in isn't just the challenge, though. It's how the game empowers you. You're a shinobi, equipped with a prosthetic arm full of tools like shuriken launchers and flamethrowers. That arm opens the door to tons of variety and approach, whether it's sneaking through enemy strongholds or going head-to-head, sword-to-sword with towering bosses. And those bosses, get ready for heart-pounding, nail-biting moments as you clash with them. Sekiro's world plays into this tension too. The haunting yet beautiful landscapes, from war-torn villages to tranquil temples high in the mountains, are packed with hidden paths and secrets that reward exploration. Layered on top of it all is a deep lore that gets your mind spinning as much as the combat does. It's a game that challenges you fiercely, but it's the mastery that comes from perseverance that makes the experience so rewarding. And that's it for our list of single-player games that totally hook you. Did we miss any of your favorites? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming content. Hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy gaming.